It all started with a phone call no sister should ever have to receive. On a chilly November evening in 1981, Lana Wood heard the words that would change her life forever. Her beloved sister, Natalie Wood, had drowned off the coast of Catalina Island. To the world, it was a tragic accident, one more sorrowful tale woven into Hollywood's mystique. But to Lana, it was the start of a lifelong mystery, a haunting that would follow her through every chapter of her life. The glittering lights that once sparkled so brightly for the Wood sisters suddenly dimmed, leaving Lana to wander through the long shadows cast by fame, loss, and unanswered questions. But Lana's story didn't begin with heartbreak. It began decades earlier, born from hope and ambition carried across an ocean. She entered the world as Svetlana Gurdin on March 1, 1946, in Santa Monica, California, the daughter of Russian immigrants chasing the American dream. Her older sister Natalie was already a rising child star, lighting up screens with her charm and talent. From an early age, Lana watched her sister's ascent into stardom. The camera flashes, the red carpets, the world that seemed larger than life. Fame was the family's inheritance, both a blessing and a burden, and even as a child, Lana seemed destined to follow the same path. Growing up, she often found herself standing just outside the spotlight, the little sister trailing behind Natalie on studio lots and film sets. But beneath that quiet exterior was a girl brimming with fire. Where Natalie exuded grace and composure, Lana radiated boldness and curiosity. She spoke her mind, chased opportunity, and refused to let anyone else define her worth. Hollywood soon took notice. By her teens, she was landing bit parts on television, auditioning tirelessly, and learning the craft from the ground up. Nothing was handed to her. She earned every step, determined to prove she was more than just Natalie Wood's sister. Her big break came in the late 1960s, when producers searching for someone with beauty and confidence found both in her. Lana's striking looks and undeniable presence landed her a coveted role in one of the most famous franchises in film history. James Bond, cast as Plenty O'Toole in Diamonds Are Forever, alongside Sean Connery. She became part of Hollywood legend. In that unforgettable role, she embodied the allure of the era, radiant, fearless, and unforgettable. Practically overnight, she transformed from the other Wood sister into a star in her own right. But fame, as always, has its darker side. For every opportunity it brought, another quietly slipped away. The industry was harsh, especially toward women who dared to age out of their ingenue years. Lana found herself fighting against the label of Bond girl, struggling to be seen as more than just a fleeting beauty. Still, she refused to fade. She appeared in popular shows like Peyton Place, Bonanza, and The Wild Wild West, building a career defined by persistence and grit. Behind the glitter, though, Hollywood could be ruthless. Promises were broken, roles disappeared, and comparisons to her famous sister never seemed to end. Her personal life mirrored that turbulence. Lana married multiple times, each relationship filled with its own highs and heartbreaks. She loved deeply, often impulsively, and her trust sometimes led her into pain. Beneath the public image was a woman longing for peace and stability, something no amount of fame could buy. Then, in 1981, everything shattered. Natalie's death aboard the yacht Splendor sent shockwaves through Hollywood. But for Lana, it was a wound that never healed. The official report called it an accidental drowning, but rumors and questions swirled about arguments, strange inconsistencies, and unanswered phone calls. Lana refused to accept silence as the final word. For decades, she fought for the truth, demanding that her sister's final hours be fully understood. Some saw her as obsessed, a woman unable to move on. Others recognized the strength behind her determination, a sister's unbreakable love refusing to let her sibling's story fade away. Her persistence would eventually reignite public interest, pushing investigators to reopen the case years later. Through it all, Lana kept finding ways to move forward. When the roles stopped coming, she turned her focus to writing, producing, and acting in independent films that allowed her creative freedom. She also embraced motherhood, devoting herself to her daughter, Evan, who became her anchor in the storms of life. The glamour that once surrounded her gave way to financial struggles, forcing her to part with personal treasures and Hollywood memorabilia just to stay afloat. Yet, despite every setback, Lana's resilience never wavered. She remained unbreakable, a survivor in every sense. Her love for her sister never dimmed with time. Whenever she spoke about Natalie, her voice softened, and her eyes carried both warmth and sorrow. To the world, Natalie Wood was an icon. To Lana, she was simply her big sister, the one who made her laugh, held her hand, and shared secrets before fame complicated their lives. And perhaps that's the heart of her story. Not one defined by tragedy or glamour, but by love that refused to die in her later years. Lana faced illness, loss, and the heavy weight of the past, yet she never retreated from the world. She continued meeting fans, sharing her memories, and celebrating the golden age of Hollywood. Even as time left its mark, she carried that same fierce spirit, the spark of a woman who had endured more than most and still stood proud. Her beauty matured, her grace deepened, but her strength remained as fierce as ever. When we look back at photos of Lana, the candid ones, away from the spotlights, we see a woman who lived every moment fully, whether triumphant or painful. From the shimmering world of Diamonds Are Forever to the quiet resilience of her later years, her life mirrors Hollywood itself, dazzling, ruthless, yet deeply human. That night of heartbreak in 1981 didn't end her story, it became her purpose. The mystery that once tormented her ultimately gave her strength. In her search for truth, she rediscovered herself. In defending her sister's memory, she found her voice. Lana Wood's story reminds us that every glamorous image hides a real person, one shaped by endurance, love, and the will to survive. Her legacy isn't just her beauty or her roles, but her courage, her honesty, and her devotion to family. She stands as a testament to what it means to endure in an industry built on illusion. A true survivor of Hollywood's brightest and darkest days. If this story of Lana would moved you, her resilience, her loyalty, and her fight for truth, don't forget to give this video a like, share it with your fellow classic film lovers, and subscribe for more untold stories from the golden age of Hollywood.